Hey, it's Suze, and welcome to today's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. Nice to see ya. Hey, I'm still working on this kid's case, and you know what? I want to share some stuff with you just in case anything goes south from this day forward. I've already been retaliated against at work. It's the same organized crime pattern that's happened most recently up in Barrow, Alaska. That's going to have to be a different video, but very, very important here. Now, I got my son, Adrian, his full legal name is Cyrus Adrian Safavi, but I just call him Adrian, that's his middle name. I got him in the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children myself, without making like an official police report and a missing persons report. Apparently that's how things are usually done. And remember, I got all kinds of crime with the FBI, political corruption, why Harry Reid's not doing more, and why the DOJ is not doing more, the legal trade, Eric Holder, and all kinds of crap. So just in the event that something happens to me or something goes south, from here on forward, I got my son into that. So I did that on May 21st, 2013. And the reference number for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children on my son is 1216340. Now, you know what is a totally crazy situation. I had made the report, they had, contacted me and so forth. And so I had to explain it's human trafficking. There's a lot of organized crime, a lot of discrepancies, a lot of garbage and this, that, and so forth. And, a couple of their people have actually gotten back to me and they are insisting that I make a police report. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, and if you see my other videos, see, I've already done a full assessment on this. This is a bunch of damn garbage. This is like such garbage. I mean, when the DOJ didn't do anything, like this Ronald Weiss, he just resigned, and, Eric Holder, he hasn't done anything, and, can't get any private legal help, and I tried members of Congress and stuff, and I've kind of like sort of turned into sort of like a novice private investigator, private detective myself, just trying to figure it out, because if I can figure it out, I can figure out what to do. But, Pete, this guy, he works in biomed up at YK Hospital in Bethel, Alaska. He kept telling me, make a police report. Make a police report. They'll get your son into the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. You'll get a reference number, and then you'll get help from them. But you know what? Even though I was, kind of having a little fling there with, Officer Andy Reid and, and Officer Turner had to investigate, some financial or some discrepancies with some of the nurses there I was working with, and so forth. I still couldn't get their department to take an official, police report, and I don't really know why. I don't know why, it's like I called the Bethel police, and I think it was a sergeant that answered the phone one day, and he actually yelled and screamed at me for, for asking. So, so when you have a police, was he a sergeant or a lieutenant? I can't remember, but it wasn't Officer Reid, and it wasn't Officer Turner or anybody like that. But it was I think a lieutenant or a sergeant up there in Bethel PD yelled at me for asking. So therefore, when you get yelled at, you just you're really, really hesitant about doing that. So, but anyway. Pete said to make a report. I tried up there in Bethel. They wouldn't take a report. And so I couldn't figure out why I couldn't just get him in myself. I was having trouble up in Alaska doing that myself. But when I did this, I was down in Texas. So I was down in Sugar Land, Texas. I was in the district of Special Agent Paul Burkholder, my ICE agent that totally rocks. But it just seems like it would just be so much easier for, I just can't even fathom making a police report on this. I tried to see if I could get the police down there in Texas to do something, and they wouldn't do anything. I mean, even iWatch, which is the terrorism unit, the counterterrorism unit in Houston PD, said, yeah, missing persons, and I call Houston PD, and then, oh, we'll get right back to you, and then, you just never hear from them. And that's why I said, you get discriminated against over and over again, and you already know it's a high crime case. You just don't really want to make a police report. See, now keep in mind too that my son got assaulted and his case never got prosecuted. And we got this high-end jackass, this damn Mark Moore, and I wasn't even allowed to see any of the filings. And so, I wasn't even allowed to see any of the evidence. I mean, pretty much I just swiped my kid and I never saw him again. So it's, what I'm going to try to do is, I mean, I could go down there to my local PD today and I could just say, well, this is what I found out. This is what I know at this point based on my own kind of investigation. But, you know, who assaulted him, I don't know. I'm trying to get Congress to see if they can do that for me, because that ties into his whole disappearance. So if I can get that Homeland Security inquiry from Washington, D.C. up there, if I can get the Senate to do that, then I will feel more comfortable about going down and making an official police report on this, because then they've got more to work with. I mean, you know, it's like we're talking about me making a police report on a bunch of garbage out of Las Vegas, which is, you know, based on a bunch of law enforcement assholes and a CIA guy. So, you know, I mean, I don't know what the heck they would do with it anyway, but I guess I'm supposed to make a police report. I'll keep working on it. Even when I went up to Barrow, Alaska, they're freaking driving me crazy, this National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I go up to Barrow, Alaska, and I get a call from the National Center demanding I make a police report. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know, the marshals in Virginia, they already told me they can't get my kid because of U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder. So I don't see how me making a police report into Alaska is going to, you know, is going to do anything, because I don't think the marshals in Alaska are going to be able to get my kid for the same reason. I mean, you know, even though they get other kids, even though they got Pete's kid in Bethel. I mean, you know, if one marshal's office can't do something, I don't know how another marshal's office would be able to do something either. So, but I mean, I don't know, dude. And so, if I can get this from Congress, because I still to this day do not know who assaulted my son. So he got assaulted in about June of 2008. So if I get that, if I can get that information, get this Homeland Security inquiry and find out who assaulted my son, then I will go from there and make a police report. But until I get that, I'm not doing it. But just know, he's got a reference number in the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They're ticking me off. I'm going to make a police report. They were even so rude to say to make a police report into the Las Vegas Metro Police. Can you believe that? The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children trying to tell me to make a police report into Las Vegas Metro, where they're the ones that neglected to prosecute the case. You know, and just left me in a violent situation being labor trafficked by this damn Mark Moore. You know, not to mention the 50,000 other crimes, the swipe of my car when I'm working in the, you know, emergency room, the mysterious swipe of my Honda Prelude. You know, it's like, you know, the fact that Mark Moore was just having my son and I just, you know, living in a bare apartment, you know, with no heat or electricity in the middle of winter, you know, taking all of my stuff, which is what Mark Moore does. I mean, there's a lot of associated crimes, you know, that ties into my son's disappearance. I mean, a lot of abuse, a lot of hate crimes, all the human trafficking components, all the manipulation, all the garbage. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Adrian had more than one abuser. I mean, I could see these FBI agents, you know, beating the hell out of my kid. I could see Mark Moore beating the hell out of my kid. I could see the cops. I could see the sheriffs. I mean, you know, and I'm not even really too thrilled with the marshals there in Las Vegas, I'll be honest with you. So I wouldn't be surprised if Adrian had more than one abuser. So, but as soon as I get that document, that Homeland Security inquiry, I will make that report. But just know, like I said, he's got a number. So if something happens to me, hopefully somebody can just follow through with the National Center and look out for Adrian's well-being. And just keep in mind, there's more than one kid. So, but anyway, that's tonight's episode of Keep the Bad Guys Away. I'll see you next time.